So welcome to this session. I'm very happy that we are going to host two very interesting talks the next 45 minutes. I will say that each speaker will provide to him 20 plus 5 minutes for questions. So the first speaker is comes from Belgium, from a university that we collaborate, but we would like to collaborate in more depth, the next years. Vives is an applied science university in Belgium, and the first speaker from Vives is for today. Tomorrow more they will come. Is Mr. Philippe van Loosveld. I'm sorry about my accent. It's like to call Papadopoulos for you. The title of his talk will be Tools and Standards You Should Know About Before Harnessing an IoT Project. IoT right now is the heart of the digitalization of society. It's how different sensors they communicate. This is how much do I know. I will provide the floor to Philippe for the next 20 minutes, and then 5 minutes for questions. Thank you very much for being with us.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, thank you. Thank you very much, Kostas, for giving me the pleasure to be here and to present myself, my work, and my high school. I take the mic. Okay. Okay. So thank you very much for giving me the floor to present my work, myself, and also my high school. So I'm from Belgium. The city is Kortrijk. It's as you might well know, Belgium is divided in two parts. You have the north part and the southern part, the Flemish-speaking and the French-speaking. So I'm from the Flemish-speaking part. Belgium, well known for its French fries, beers. So it's. I see the lady from Spain is not here, but because I would like to ask a question: how it comes that Belgian beer in Spain is cheaper than in Belgium? So I find it very strange. Okay, that's Europe. Okay, so I would like to talk in 20 minutes about Industry 4.0 and IoT. This morning I was informed that the public audience is non-necessary engineering guys. So and this was my goal. I wanted to talk to people with a non-engineering background about Industry 4.0 and IoT, because if you attend to a meeting about Industry 4.0, you will find always this starting image to explain about Industry 4.0. And of course, if there's a 4.0, certainly there must have been in the past a 3.0, 2.0, and 1.0. I have some comments about this kind of presentations because they only talk about technology. You get the impression that the different industrial revolutions were initiated by new technologies. Well, this is not correct. The industrial revolutions are inspired by the changes in our society and the way we act as a consumer. If I take the next picture, okay, the next slide, forward. For the clarity of sakes, the left part, we talk about Industry 2.0. Left side, right side here, we talk about Industry 4.0. In both of the pictures, we talk about cars. And to my opinion, in the 1920s, when we talked about cars, well, at this moment, a car does exactly the same thing. It gets you from point A to point B. So what does it change? Well, it's the way how we see what we expect from a car. And back in the 1920s, when people bought themselves a car, there were no specifications. Henry Ford, the inventor of the automobile industry, when he was asked the question, can I have your car in blue color? He said, well, you can have my car in any color you wish, as long as it's black. Okay? Nowadays, what we want as a consumer, when we buy a car, we want to have a website displaying a car, which we can personalize. We want to add some color, we want to change the interior, the type of wheels. We want this car to be delivered the morning after, at our front door. And when we open the door of this car, I want this car to play my favorite Spotify list. That is the way how we now look towards a car, difference between 1920. So this means that if we want to adapt our industry, if we want to make this possible, well, we have to set we have to choose some technologies that enable us to make this kind of products. Okay, so this is a big change. It's not about technology, it's about how we see what we expect from a product. Okay, now of course to enable this kind of industry we need technology. Okay, some further challenges, threats among to step into Industry 4.0. If we take the Belgian industry and assume for other countries in Europe it's not different. We still have a huge lack of trained technical people. So you can imagine we have to reinvent our industry, but we don't have the people, we don't have the technicians. Furthermore, we have the global competition. Europe is not alone as a supplier for cars. We have to compete with low-income countries. More and more systems become complex. They become error intolerant. We cannot produce any errors when we make stuff, when we make products. So those are also challenges that we need to face when we try to adapt to Industry 4.0. So conversion towards 4.0 implies reducing the overall human effort, because this is what the main cost is in a product. So we have to reduce the human effort to make a product, okay, to be able to pass into Industry 4.0. Do we have a choice? Does our industry have a choice? Can we say, well, no, it's not for me, I don't have a trained staff, I'm not interested, my customers, they are happy, so Industry 4.0 is not for me? Well, I don't think that companies, they have the choice. Small comparison, in 1999, the company Kodak, American company, worldwide player, they had a staff worldwide of 540,000 people working for Kodak, a huge company, okay? When I go back to 2013, Instagram, a company founded in 2010, I believe, and I think in 12 and 13 they were bought by Facebook, okay? So both of them active in imaging. This is the classical story, film rolls and so on. This is complete digitalization. So, yeah, Kodak made a huge mistake because if you look at their business model, to make a product, a film, they had to spend a lot of money in production of the films, developing the films, production costs that were not visible when Instagram here. So the production cost for one image, since we are talking about digitalization, is $0. When we compare it with Kodak at that time, 1919, to manage the same amount of pictures, they had a production cost of how many? I can't read the number of zeros. A huge amount of money to be able to process that kind of that quantity of images. Where is Kodak nowadays? Nowhere. It's gone. So I think we don't have a choice. Even the smallest company, Kodak was a big world player, even for small and medium-sized companies, I don't think that they have a choice. They have to step towards Industry 4.0. Now, what if you say, okay, we decided, we're convinced we are going ahead with Industry 4.0. Well, how do you proceed? How do you know if you buy some new machinery, how do you know that you will be compliant to Industry 4.0? There was a document that dates from 2012. It was a document that was written by the German Ministry of Education and Economy. And it's a document, I can give you the website after my presentation. 40 pages, and it was just a document that contains some recommendations for small and medium-sized companies, how they can evolve into Industry 4.0. I read this document, and on the level of technologies, I managed to filter 4 topics that are really important. Those are checkpoints to see if the solution that you found will enable you to step in towards Industry 4.0. So what are those 4 pillars? We're talking about interoperability. So if you decide to go for a certain production line or mechanism or whatever, machine or process, be sure that the systems can work together and that can be interchanged. So the difficulty also is always if you buy a machine with one supplier, you're always attached to this supplier. So try to, instead of buying a huge machine, try to divide it in subsystems, modular subsystems. The advantage is you can easily change. So if your customers from today, from tomorrow ask, well, we're not longer interested in this product, I want you to change it. Since your machine is modular, you can easily, and without major cost, you can change your production line. So don't go for one monoblock machine. Try to separate your production in different smaller units. Information transparency is also an important element since we are talking about different systems working together. It is important that all the information is at the same time, has the same content. So we don't want to make any confusions. If you order a car and you say, well, my car, I want this type of wheel. Well, you don't want this type of wheel being mounted on another car. So this information through your whole process has to be transparent. So if you choose for technology, be sure that you can have access to this information and that you can rely to connect it to the other system. Decentralized decision. So if you go for a machine, like I said here, it's better to choose for smaller modules, smaller systems. Of course, if you talk about smaller systems, those systems need to be intelligent. So if you pick, let's say, a simple sensor, well, be sure that it's smart. This sensor doesn't only have to provide you readings, but he has to provide you with the status. He has to say, well, I'm doing fine. The measure that I'm sending you is okay. It's not outside the limits. So be sure that if you choose some components, make sure that they're intelligent. And it can go very, very low. If you take a sensor, be sure to verify if it's a smart sensor. Since all the systems become more and more complex, well, it's not because we're talking about Industry 4.0, it's still technology, and technology can fail. So even if your application, your machine, your process is Industry 4.0 compliant, you can still have technical problems. So since those systems are very complex, you need to be sure that your machine is able to give you the right information to troubleshoot your machine. So this is a very important, it's not a good solution to go for a complex machine if there's something fails and you don't know what's happening. So you have to be sure that your machine can give you some information to easily troubleshoot some problems. So those 4 pillars, so if you go for a certain technology, be sure to check if all those items are available to a certain extent. And then you can be sure that, okay, the choices you made will enable me to pass with my production into the Industry 4.0 era. Okay. This is what you can do to implement those 4 pillars. You can go for the first point, for the point of interoperability and connectivity. Be sure to make use of industrial standards. Don't invent stuff yourself. Go for standards. That's really important. If you have a standard, then you can be sure if something is failing or not working as it should be, you can take it away. Put it with replace it with another part. As long as this new part talks the same standard, then you're okay. So go for standards. Information transmitting by standard information models, we'll see it later on. Try to represent your data in a uniform way. So on every level in your process, you need to see the same information in the same layout. Make it readable, make it human readable. This is also important. Using smart devices, even your smallest sensor, be sure that it's smart. Okay. And for the part of technical assistance, well, then we enter the area of digital twins, virtual reality, augmented reality. Give your technical staff the right tools to troubleshoot your machine. Okay? So if you focus on those 4 parts, you can more or less be sure that you're okay for enabling the Industry 4.0 in your projects. Some examples here. I will not go in too much of tech talk details. I will just mention a few keywords, a few technologies. So if you decide to go for a certain solution, then you can quickly check if some key features are present. Like for instance on the communication standards used in your project. Well, if if somewhere your product, your solution that you choose supports any of those standards, then you know you're okay, because these are really industrial standards. So we're talking about MQTT, we're talking REST, webhooks, OPC UA, Modbus. I will go a small detail about those few standards. Remote connectivity is also a very key parameter, because nowadays when a process fails, you have a customer which has a machine somewhere abroad, then you need to be able to connect using the internet to this machine. To troubleshoot your machine, you have to have this connection, this remote connection. Different systems exist. I have here a few examples. You can use VPN routers that allows you the access to machines. If you have some computers, you can just expose local hosts on your computer's controller, so that to be able to connect from remote to your application. For network connectivity, you can install jump boxes that enable you to connect to a complex machine from remote. So there are different solutions that exist to enable remote connectivity to your application. More in detail, what is MQTT? A question, 5 minutes. Who has ever heard about MQTT? No one? No? Never heard about it? You heard it? Huh? MQTT, of course, that's my colleague. No, MQTT, a very short description. You all know about WhatsApp, okay? WhatsApp is a way of communication in which the sender is not strictly tied to the one that receives the image, the message, okay? So you have a go-between, which is governed by WhatsApp, so they make sure that at a certain moment you will receive the message. But the guy that sends the message, he isn't really aware of who is listening, because you could make a WhatsApp group and, okay, at a certain point you don't know really how many people are reading this message. MQTT is exactly the same thing. Only difference is MQTT is used to make machines talk to each other, or different solutions, okay? So this is basically the same mechanism. There is somewhere a part of your machine that have some information that might be interesting for other modules. Well, he can just publish. I publish this message, and there's some, we call it an agent, a go-between that manage all those messages, and then he can look, okay, who is interested in this message, and then he can, okay, filter out those messages and send them to the right system. So MQTT is just machines WhatsApping to each other. So this is about MQTT. I'll go a little bit fast. There are other communication modules. If you want to have, there's a complete community. I have here the website where you can link and find more information on how to set up MQTT. Explanation about what is MQTT. Remember, just simply WhatsApp. Machine WhatsApping to each other. REST API and webhooks, I will go very... MQTT is machines talking to machines. REST API and webhooks are machines getting information from the internet. And this information can come, it can be whatever. It can be a weather forecast, it can be another machine, just publishing information on the internet, whatever information which can be handy in your production process can be get from the internet. The mechanism, how you do it, you can have polling. That means that your machine is continuously looking on the internet for a certain information, or you can have a webhook. That means that you have a web service running, and at the moment that he sees somewhere a message which can be useful for your machine, then he informs your equipment, okay, there is a certain information available for your machine. So this is API and webhooks, web services. REST API, just same principle. Here you have a client and a server. The importance here is, I'm talking about the JSON. A few slides further, I mentioned the theme of uniform data models. Well, one of the standard uniform data model that is used in Industry 4.0 application is JSON. Okay. More information about JSON also you can find it on the internet. I'm going a little bit fast. Webhooks, how can I, for non-technicians, webhook, these are all web services. You can call it the web compared to the ocean. These messages are fish. And each time a fish is thrown in the ocean, you have here a hook, a fish hook, that can capture those messages. So if anything happens on the internet, the information can be captured and sent to your application. Okay? There's also a way of communicating, making your machines communicate with the internet. OpenCUA is also a kind of communication protocol, but it goes a little bit further. It gives you a standard information model on how machines should exchange data and information. OpenCUA, okay, also description, go a little bit fast, client server. There's a one location where the data is stored, and you have one client, you can have several clients, yeah, interrogating the OpenC server to receive some information important for your production. Multiplicity, I will skip this one because it's also the point for remote connectivity. And nowadays there are plenty of tools that exist to expose your machines to the internet. So if you want to link it up for troubleshooting purposes or to exchange some information, those are all open source tools, free of use, no license, but they enable you to expose your machine to the internet. Information transparency. You have here the JSON. This is basically the standard model that machines use to exchange information. Not only machines, but also for web applications. If you interrogate, if you also have some information about a certain whatever, the information that is sent to you will be stored in a JSON file format. I'm going a little bit. You hear what is JSON? You can see here an example of how a JSON structure look like, and what is important for you, non-technician, it's human readable. If you open a JSON file in, let's say, Notepad on Windows, you will see this kind of text. So you can just read the information. So it's not hidden or not coded or whatever. It's just human readable. Okay, JSON. JSON can be considered as a sort of database, so you can ask questions, you can launch queries, you can look for some items. So this is also possible with JSON. MongoDB, of course, at a certain point, your information has to be stored, so you can use databases, and these databases have the advantage that they just store your JSON files, your JSON documents. So anything that you store in this MongoDB is human readable. If you scroll all the entries in your database, you will see a human readable layout what is the information stored at this website. So for non-technicians, non-ITer, this is ideal for use. InfluxDB, this is more or less the same thing than MongoDB, but this is strictly used for measurements. So if you have an application where you want to log some temperature or pressure or whatever levels, you can very easily use a Influx database. MongoDB, Influx, open source, no licenses, anyone can install it and try it. In fact, all the stuff that I'm here talking about can be deployed on your kitchen table. So you don't need any license, you don't need to buy software. They are all open source and without license. Okay. And of course, I have spoken here about a lot of stuff here. You have MQTT, the communication protocols, you have the databases, the JSON, and so on. You can say, well, these are all different technologies. Well, there's one environment in which you can integrate all of those technologies. And this is called Node-RED. Anyone heard of Node-RED? No? New for Node-RED? Node-RED is an application environment which is intended for non-ITers. So you don't need to have any knowledge about programming languages. You can just, by picking some nodes with a certain functionality, you can just link them as black box items. And this you can use to create your application. If you have certain idea about, creative idea about an application, you see, well, I need a database, I need some queries, I have this machine which I want to get some information from. Well, all those tools, all those boxes can be integrated within Node-RED. Node-RED is some kind of a graphical, it's not a programming environment, it's a configuration environment in which non-ITers can easily make their applications.
Like blocks?
It's like blocks, just like blocks.
Get the information afterwards.
Those blocks, indeed. So those blocks are very simply made. There's just one input and one output. So you send to this block, you send a piece of information. Most cases, it will be a JSON structure. You can read this information. You can make calculations. You can make logic decisions, whatever you want. And at the end of the processing, the same block will get you an output message. And by doing so, you just interconnect your different blocks together. So you make your own IoT application without any coding. So don't be afraid saying, well, Industry 4.0, it's about internet. I'm not an IT specialist. I'm not an engineer. No worries. Just start with Node-RED. You will find it very easy to start. Okay? 5 minutes? Okay. I'm finished. It was in a hurry. Normally, this is what I'm telling here is a 1 semester with my students, okay? So it was more an invitation. So if you want to know more, you have my coordinates, so feel free to ask a question. I have some high schools which have departments like nutrition, healthcare, social work and so on, but don't have an engineering department. So those ones, just explain your application to me and I will help you in a certain level to make your own application. The idea is that I make myself dispensable. So I will give you the tools, I will give some explication, and the idea is that you start off your own application, your own Industry 4.0 application. For those high schools who have an engineering department, go and see your colleagues, your colleague engineers, and ask them about MQTT, ask them about OPC, ask them about Node-RED. They will surely help you to develop your application. Okay? Thank you very much for your attention. It was really in a hurry.
You knew that.
I was informed, yes. Thank you. Any questions?
Any questions? I have one. The majority of the research universities, they are doing fundamental research. Mm-hmm. And one of the biggest challenges is like how this fundamental research, they can become innovative products and useful products or services to the society. Mm-hmm. So what are your suggestions, since you are coming from Applied Sciences University, and there are a lot of discussion in Europe, like, you know, comprehensive universities and applied sciences universities. And I have to say that, you know, the applied sciences universities, they can offer solutions in order the research university to be more innovative. Okay. So what are your suggestions?
Working together. Working together. I can give you an example of a project that I did. We have also a department about nutrition and dietetics. And 4 years ago, perhaps long, 4 or 5 years ago, they did some fundamental research on alternative proteins. So if I'm talking about alternative proteins, it's insects, okay? So they had a fundamental research about the sustainability, the impact on nature, about growing alternative proteins. And afterwards, they wanted to check if their fundamental research, if the results that they got there, would also, with an upscaling, would also apply to a small pilot plant. Okay, making a pilot plant, the fundamental researchers don't have the knowledge. And then they came to see us. Then we worked together. And we made a small pilot plant for growing and breeding insects. And there they could see that the results that they got from their fundamental research could upscale, also applied to this pilot plant. And this information, that what was practical, a finished machine, they go to the market with, let's say, a 90% finished machine. We could talk to farmers which were already into breeding insects, and they had all the information, all the data that we gathered during this research work. They could use it on a positive way in their projects. So working together. If you have some fundamental research, I'm sure there is an engineering or an engineering department that can help you to make pilot installation, pilot plans. So work together, ask questions, see your colleagues. That's
so let's keep, you know, a key expression, work together.
Work together.
It links, you know, everyone regarding, and internationalization is like a pathway to work together and lower the barriers. So join me, and thanks again, you know, the speaker for the nice contribution.
Okay. Thank you very much.
And now, because I'm an old guy, I have to remember, I know that the next speaker comes from Poland. And I'm very glad to have together with us Edita from AHE. I have kept the acronym, but it's very nice to have it here, University of Humanities and Economics in Lodz. One of the motivation of this, let's say, international event is like to learn each other and learn the universities as well. It's technologies, diets and nutrition sciences, because we should link it with technologies, but also is an opportunity to introduce each other and check what we can do together, work together. I will keep it this as the motto of our next international event. The floor is yours, Edita, for the next 20 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so hello everyone. I represent University of Humanities and Economics in Łódź. We also have dietetics and also a technological faculty. I will tell about it later. First of all, we are now here, and I'm from here, from Poland. And my university is in the middle of the Poland, in the heart of Poland. Some numbers. My university is a private university. It's one of the first private universities in Poland. This year we've got 30th anniversary. And what is interesting about AHE, the acronym of the name of my university, is that we teach online for 21 years, which make us the first online university in the Middle and Eastern Europe. So when during COVID, Polish universities were, oh my God, what are we going to do? What is Teams? How to use it? We were just like, give us 3 days. We've got e-learning platform. We'll put everything there and teach our students to use it. We've got 81,000 of graduates, 24 study faculties, and over 100 specialization, postgraduate studies. What is interesting? My university is like a family. These graphics here and on the next slide is drawn by our student, Agata. And now she works in our management faculty as a graphic designer, because we help our students and our postgraduate students to find job and to maintain their careers. Okay, we are. Here you can see everything I said before, right? We are an accredited higher education institution. We've got BA, MI, PhD, programs, like everyone in Poland. But I would like to show you our departments: arts, economics and management, humanities. This is my favorite department because I teach their creative writing and also I teach cultural studies. But on the other hand, I'm a supervisor of our e-learning platform. So technique is something I love, and I loved you. Yeah, I love you. Okay, I love you, everyone. Yeah, so arts, economics and management, humanities, medical and health sciences, education, psychology, law and administration, technology and art. What is important? We don't only have lectures, workshop, or seminars. We also work in project methods. What does it mean? It means that we have the problem-based learning. For example, I teach creative writing in this project method, and my students had to make teams and then rewrite in these teams traditional European fairy tales and make it modern. They had to talk about what problem they would like to retell with fairy tales, and then not only rewrite the fairy tale, but also make an assignment. For example, the Little Red Riding Hood. You know her, everyone, right? Became an ecological activist and fight for wolves and their environment. You know, because that's the modern problem. Okay, but I have to focus, you know. So, 30 years of experience, 7 departments in which, and 6 external departments. I will pronounce it in Polish because it sounds very funny. It's Warsaw, you know, it's our capital, but it's also Świdnica, Jasło, Wodzisław Śląski, Trzcianka i Sieradz. 24 faculty of bachelor and master degree, 4 of them completely in English, more than 100 specialties, over 81,000 graduates. Currently, we've got over 7,000 students, of which over 500 are foreign students. And you are welcome too. Our Erasmus Plus program, some numbers, because everyone like numbers. We work with 55 foreign universities, not with yours, so we have to change it, I guess. Yeah. So each year we are sending around 40 students and 50 staff members. Here I am. And also we're receiving 70 to 80 students from Erasmus Mobilities from Spain, Portugal, Turkey, Italy, Germany, and Latvia. You said that Africa is a big opportunity. In AHE, we teach lots of students from Nigeria, Zimbabwe, and so on. So we took this opportunity. We have multiple English courses, and this is the website. During mobility, you can study business and administration, computer science, dance studies, early childhood pedagogy, economy, English philology, German philology, graphic design, journalism, media and culture studies. I will teach you. That will be great. Management, pedagogy, Polish philology, it's me too. Political studies, tourism and recreation. And our international project department works very intensively to internationalization, as you said. This thing is very important for us too, and we've got a big experience includes over 250 projects funded under Erasmus Plus and other European programs. To this day, we made projects in higher education, primary and secondary education, adult education, integration of generations, virtual education, that's my favorite plate, graphics and VR, cultural integration, and entrepreneurship. I'm quite stressed and so happy to be here. And I'm trying to be as fast as you, but I can't, you know. So, here's some addresses, email addresses, if you like us and want to work with us. My name is Edyta, and that's my email address. And now I would like to show you two very short videos to sum up.
Just a moment. Can we transmit the video? I would like to show the video. Where are the videos?
In the email I send you.
Okay, I forgot to send you the videos then. So we are going to make it tomorrow?
Okay.
So it was my mistake. Because I remember that she sent me the videos. Yes. Just a moment. So any questions in the meantime? Yes. Just a moment. Say.
Thank you. My name is Elina. I'm from Ukraine. I also work in private university. So my first question for you is, do you have any government supporting of private universities in your country? It is my first question.
No.
No, because we also know any supporting, and
Yeah.
it's very hardly for us because you understand all problem of private education. So, and the second question is, how do you promote your university from schools, from graduated of schools, from pupils, and so maybe from colleges? Do you have any department maybe special for it?
Yes. Yes, we have, but I don't work there, and they do, you know, magic. And
You send me links, not the videos. That's why, you know,
Yeah.
No problem. Which links? I would like to send you the videos. But there are links. She has not sent me, you know, the files. She sent me links. Download it.
oh gosh.
And also maybe do you organize some events for schools in your university, or you don't know this?
Yeah, open days.
Yes, open days, yes.
We've got
And
some-
how often? How often open days? One per week, for months, for year? How often do you do?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, you don't.
Your
It
questions
is
are so-
not your
Yeah.
area. I understand. Thank you.
We have you have for the videos around maximum 10 minutes because at 4:30 the class is.
One of the film is a half a minute, and the second one is 2.5, so 3 minutes.
Also, I would like to invite you. I'm organizing a project like how arts are related with the soft skills development. So as I can see, you have an arts department. So I would like to invite you.
Okay.
Of course, we have a partner from Poland. It's like the University of Krakow. But you know, it will be nice to have you also on board. All right? If
I'll call you.
you're not the only one. So in the middle time, we're waiting for the links to be uploaded by our colleagues at the back. Any other question? As you can see, the coordinates regarding dissemination of the universities plays an important role. So she said, in the center and east, we are the first online university. A lot of universities say that we are in the center of Europe. So I was looking for this, all the universities are in center in the world. I don't know how do they coordinate, but I have to say that, Polish universities, I suspect all the universities are very open universities. They would like to collaborate very openly. In general, I think this is like what I have noticed. So when we are ready, we are ready? Oh, no. Okay, never mind. Actually, it was my mistake. I forgot. I overpassed the links.
You send me.
Excellent.
Oh,
excellent.
gosh.
What is your name? Ilona from?
From Poland.
Okay. I'm Ilona from the same city as Edita, from Łódź. So I just wanted to add something to Edita. Edita, thank you very much for this interesting presentation. Just wanted to add, for those who are not familiar with our city, Łódź is a city, as Edita said, in the heart of Poland, but it is also the city of very international cross-cultural culture. So if you are considering cooperation with Poland, which is a perfect place just for this kind of cooperation. We all have students from many different countries, and they are really safe and inspired by our culture. So I hope it will be interesting for the others. Just wanted to add it. Thanks, Edita, for this.
Ilona is from my alma mater, University of Łódź, so my heart is there all the time.
She cannot play through the computer if she's going to log in to her account. So probably she can play from this computer. No? So can you find the link, because I have not received my email.
What?
Would you like to download it from here?
I won't log because no, it's impossible. I don't have a link.
Anyhow, I will try.
No, Kostas, it's okay.
No.
Oh, okay.
I will try another email because you have not received it.
Could you pass the microphone?
I will try to forward this to Maria. What is it? Maria Metakítrina Dimitropoulou. Okay. I sent it.
Oh gosh.
Just a moment. These are one of the chapters. You should be agile. Problems come, you should face them. Never mind. I didn't say something important. Είναι κάποια link, είναι ένα link μέσα στο email. Sorry about it. We can just translate that, don't expect a video file, but there is a link within the email.
So maybe we can take this time to share some information about the evening.
Oh yeah.
About the evening, I think that, the local people, they have to share it with you during the morning. You were on the beginning?
We lost the bus and we were late.
All right. So
You want a mic?
Yeah, there is this event at 6 o'clock that we are going to visit the museum, and then we are going to have a winery taste. Until now, 25 people, I will say 30 people, they have been registered. If you have registered, it's okay. So we are going to meet, I have to ask the local people, 5:45, somewhere in the city center where the plaza is. But I will send you, the details on the WhatsApp. Are you in the WhatsApp group? So I will advise them, immediately. But the meeting is going to happen 5:45. City is a very small city, so we will be there in 5 minutes, and then we will continue to this winery tasting. We are going to have finished at around 9, I think. No, 7:30, they told me. Sorry, I was thinking other things as well. But this is I will send you the coordinates of the meeting to the WhatsApp. I have to ask them because I'm not local, so I don't know.
I can say one funny thing.
I'm going to call them.
In Greek, yes, is nej, right? And in Polish, no is nie. So when I ask someone about something, and he's like, nej, and I'm like, what? Nej is in Poland nie, no. And in your...
Are you ready?
It's not this.
Στην άλλη φωνή.
Skip it. Ping, ping. Yeah. I need also some voice.
Sorry, you have to move it to the next.
Let it go, really.
So they told me 5:45 to the main plaza, where's the soldier statue?
There is no voice.
5:45. Okay. Yeah, of course. I should be here the whole week, the whole week. Okay.
You don't hear anything, but there is lecturer and he's great. Never mind, just let it go. Please. We can finish. Thank you.
I lost it. I have the link.
No, just really. Just and
We have to hurry up. Because
Yeah.
the bus.
so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So see you for those that you are going to participate tonight. Otherwise, tomorrow we are starting 8:30. Check out the program online. All right, which means that you should take the bus 7:45. Otherwise,
The bus is leaving from where?
Yes,
from the hotel bus, I sent you in the WhatsApp the address this morning. So
I'm not sure I'm in your WhatsApp.
yeah, but